Tidbits. It's me, Tidbits. Yeah, I'm the guy who does it. I'm the guy who does it. We're starting. As always, it's Tidbits. I'm not saying it. I'm going to say it this time. I'm going to mute out, guys. Hey, guess what, guys? It's a new episode of regular old boring Tidbits. It's me, Tidbits Rob, and joining me as always is...
It's me, Tidbits Mike.
And also...
Hi, it's me, Tidbits Gaz.
How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Fine. How about you?
Pretty good. I'm getting over a cold.
I think I'm about to be sick.
Fantastic. Sick bits.
My wife is on the verge of sick, where she's like, I think I'm sick tomorrow, kind of.
I wanted to tell you guys, I heard from two sources this week. One, an old friend, James, one, a new friend, Bill, who both had the same idea, which is how do we get mail in the mailbag? And I'll be honest, up until now, it's been people just texting or calling and chatting with me. But these two very important conversations have prompted me to create what is the following? tidbitsmailbag@gmail.com. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to write in to the Tidbits Tower, you can just write into tidbitsmailbag@gmail.com. That's tidbits, plural, mailbag, all one word.
So it's not Tidbit Smailbag.
No, it's not Tidbits Mailbag. It's tidbitsmailbag@gmail.com.
I was going to make literally the same joke. I like that. Good to know that. Anyway, Tidbits Mailbag.
I got two pieces of mail already in Tidbits.
In this mailbag?
How? Before you announced it? Are they psychics?
Well, yeah. The first one is our old friend Marisa, friend of the show and former guest, maybe future guest. She wrote and said, hey, guys, I enjoyed your Christmas tidbits, and I'd like to know what is everyone's favorite Christmas movie. So, mine's It's a Wonderful Life, of course, but I watched this week. Boo, it's a fantastic movie. I watched Eyes Wide Shut. I've never seen it before. I'm on a Stanley Kubrick kick, I think, since The Shining tidbit. But Eyes Wide Shut is a Christmas movie. At least it's set during Christmas, and there's like a Christmas tree in every scene.
I understand like our impulse to try to find alternate Christmas movies. For example, First Blood could be a Christmas movie. It takes place during Christmas. There's Christmas trees in the background of the police station in First Blood. But in Eyes Wide Shut, does Tom Cruise learn that he shouldn't spend as much time at work and more time at the sex club with Nicole Kidman, which is where family really matters, because that's the actual thing that makes it a Christmas movie. So is it sort of like that, where they like realize that family is what matters and not our jobs?
I do feel like he discovers by the end of the movie that his family is more important than going to weird sex parties.
Well, then it is a Christmas movie then. It is a good Christmas movie that I'll put on next year.
With the whole family, for the whole family to enjoy. Also, Nicole Kidman is...
Nicole Tidbit.
Nicole Kidman is a horrible actress, and I am going to die on that hill. There's a scene where they like smoke a joint. It's like she's never been stoned, I think. It is the worst. It's like watching a high school play where a kid has to act drunk, and it's completely unbelievable that they're drunk. Otherwise, it was an interesting movie. More interesting than I thought it was going to be, honestly. How about you, Mike? What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Well, it is First Blood, because at the end, Rambo learns that his job isn't everything, and him and the police officer have to come together to celebrate the spirit of the time. What's your choice, guys?
I'm just going to say Elf off the top of my head. I don't even know that is my favorite Christmas movie, but I like it a lot. I watch it almost every year.
There is another piece of Tidbits mail that was anonymous that I'd like to read to you, and I'm not sure I could read it in keeping a straight face. It's from someone we know who likes to remain anonymous. Dear Tidbits, I sat through the so-called Tidbit Episode 9 Christmas Late with special guest Parm Benatar Chocula, pretty close, and was perpetually disappointed that not one of you had a single tidbit about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Freebie, crucifix. If this was a gag, I don't want to nick-pit a tidbit skit, but come on! I expect this from Tidbits Judas Rob, but not Gaz or the funny one. Who should be ashamed to admit omitting him, capital H-I-M, from a tidbit. Commit your wit to the witness or quit, hypocrite. I do appreciate... If you'll permit, let's retrofit the tidbit past, and I'll give you the only tidbit that matters, lickety-split. The one on the tip of your tongues. He died for your sins, and he is the reason for the season. Yes, any and all thanks to him. For him, many blessings. Here's my favorite part. P.S. Patrick Stewart, spelled S-T-U-A-R-T. I know this person knows how to spell Patrick Stewart. P.S. Patrick Stewart is named in the Epstein files 9 times, and they are all references to how stupid Deep Space Nine is.
Is that true?
No, of course that's not true. Of course that's not true.
I don't know. Well, there's a lot of files because they call me the funny one. I'm very reluctant to say my stupid joke. Did Eminem write in? Right? Oh, with the writing. Oh, that was like the rhyming. I don't know if I know a tidbit about Jesus.
I mean, if I was going to do one, it would be the thing about how Christmas shouldn't be about Jesus because it was this pagan holiday that they just sort of decided to ramhorn his birthday into somehow, blah, 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 blah.
If I were to do one, it would be like, but then guess what? He turned all the water into wine.
Well, I guess, but that's like just Bible stories.
Yeah, I mean, where else? As I understand it, dating back 6 years, Mike has a tidbit to do about Legend of Zelda tonight. So I thought we might start, because I'm very, very eager as a resident Legend of Zelda fan. I'm very eager.
So it involves both of you. We never really established on this show how we all know each other, although I guess it sort of does get established. We obviously all went to high school together. Rob and I actually went to junior high school together, which I guess is middle. So we met in college. 6th grade.
You've been following me around.
Yeah, yes. All moments of life we have been together. But we met in 6th grade. And this is one of those things that I don't really think I was actually there for, but we said it so many times that it became a memory in my head. And it was the thing, Rob, I don't know if you recall, in home economics, you sneezed into your hands, you filled up your hands with snot, and you went up to the front of the classroom to ask if you go to the bathroom. And the teacher said, why? And you showed her, and then she went, ew. And I said, that's my new best friend. That guy there.
It's definitely been discussed on this show before because I wasn't there and I remember us talking about it.
Well, it's talked about all the time. It's such a good story.
Like, we talk outside the show, guys.
Yeah. Listeners, let us know. Was it on the show before?
Right into
Use Mailbag.
Mail.
Right into Tidbit mail.
Anyway, Rob and I became fast friends after that. And one of the things we would do as young friends did do in the late 80s and mid 90s is play Nintendo. The way it generally worked, I did not own a Nintendo. Rob had a regular Nintendo, and then he got a Super Nintendo. And I recall spending a lot of time at Rob's house in his room watching him play.
The original Watch Squad.
Yes. My job is to give ideas for solving puzzles, to egg you on when you're feeling down, you couldn't do a jump or whatever. Yeah, it was I don't know, what do you call that? Like R2-D2 to your X-Wing kind of thing. They're telling you, well, you're flying the X-Wing, I'm in the back beeping and booping, because I wasn't very good at playing the games.
Because there's a lot of puzzles in Zelda. Like that, you legitimately,
that makes more
like
sense.
You weren't helpful with Mario because that was just executing the jumps. But with like Legend of Zelda, with all these little puzzles, you were hugely helpful.
I think that I probably was helpful in Mario because I probably said things like, do the jump.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very...
Don't miss. Let's get up there. Yeah, so I suppose we would sit and play the original Legend of Zelda game.
Correct.
And I would give you hints on the puzzles, and we would solve it. Pause on that, real brief. Gaz, we did not know each other in middle school, but we did become friends towards the end of high school. And I do recall when we first started hanging out, you had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game, and I would help you.
Okay, I don't even remember that.
I'm good at helping other people play video games. I'm not good at that. So it's a nice thing for me to see. My own son is 13. He's had his friends come over. They'll play a video game. There's a game they like. You probably haven't heard of Poppy Playtime, but have you heard of Friday Nights at Freddy's? Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's is a movie about that. But those types of games are very popular with these kids. They're really
popular with kindergartners. And
are they? They like Poppy Playtime?
Very inappropriate.
Poppy Playtime's terrifying. But I do like that my son is the person driving the X-Wing. His friend Hunter comes to do the R2-D2 role of watching him play for like 2 hours.
Funny.
Anyhow, this is to get to my tidbit, which is, did you know that in the Legend of Zelda, Zelda's not the main character? That's called Link.
Are you really? Is that where we're going? Is that all you got? Is that all you got?
Hold on a second. Let's see what else I can have. Did you know The Legend of Zelda, the game actually saved your progress using a battery inside the cartridge, which was
There are
revolutionary at
cartridges
the
even
time.
today that like have saved people's games.
Is that true?
30 years later.
Well, that's a good. I just got a good tidbit from this episode.
God.
What a good show this is.
You've
I did not
had
know
4 months to come up with this tidbit, man, and you're doing it right
That's
now on the
good.
fly.
I like that. Now I'm retracting my tidbit. My new tidbit is that you could buy a used Legend of Zelda cartridge and have someone else's game on it. That's amazing.
Gaz, do you have follow-up?
I think I'm winning.
Yeah, I have a follow-up. When you came to my house, was I playing the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games on the NES, or was I playing Turtles Tournament Street Fighter version on the Genesis?
It was a side-scrolling game. Gameplay.
Like
yes.
It sounds like the original NES, yeah.
Good tidbit.
That was my follow-up.
Yeah,
Rob,
I
do you
have
have
a
any
follow-up.
follow-ups?
In your research, were you able to figure out in the lore of Legend of Zelda where the original Legend of Zelda game fits into the grander lore of Legend of Zelda?
So I will say that I've only played Breath of the Wild, but I do know that there are multiple timelines in the Zelda series.
That's pretty
Is that
true, Mark,
correct?
yeah.
There is not really a linear, like, they don't all build into each other, so some of them connect, and then some of them seem like kind of like completely detached.
In reality, they just kind of come up with good games that sort of echo each other, and then they retroactively kind of try to make them all make sense. Kind of like Doctor Who.
Or any franchise that's been going for decades when it was not intended to do so.
Yeah, exactly.
So where does it fit in?
It is later in the timeline, assuming Ganon was successful in the Ocarina of Time game, and you are coming up against Ganon's forces for the final time. So it's kind of like the last game.
That's interesting. I feel like you should have been assigned this because I feel like there's no lot of trivia about Legend of Zelda.
I mean, originally it was because I won something. I won one round or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, I want to hear a cool Legend of Zelda tidbit." And I'm sure my friend Mike, who will have months to come up with this, is going to come up with something really good.
You know what, though? To be fair, even if he had put more effort into this, which would be tough, it'd be hard for him to find a trivia that you didn't know because you're the expert.
Well, maybe
you should have me assigned to come up with some Godzilla trivia for next. I'm like, did you know there was a cartoon?
What I love is that in my mind, I thought Mike. I was like, "Oh, Mike's gonna come up with something so good. He's gonna wow me."
Oh, that makes you feel bad.
Well, you know, you're the funny one. I mean, it was a funny one.
You're the funny one.
Are you you're both so jealous?
All right, can I go next?
Go ahead.
Okay, I have a tidbit about Zelda.
Wait, really?
Yeah, really.
It's coming through. It's gonna be something I don't know. It's gonna be great.
There's a chance you might not know it, and I don't know Zelda. I played the original one a little bit, and that's kind of it. I am not a Zelda fan the way you guys are. I played Link's Crossbow a lot on the Wii.
It's like the worst game, but yeah, all right.
On the NES, the original Legend of Zelda, which I did play a bit back in the day, there is a enemy named Pole's Voice, which is sort of like a rabbit-looking character, and there was a weird thing.
I'm blowing into my microphone.
Okay, so I'm done. Go ahead.
I'm just blowing into my microphone for no good reason. Go ahead.
Mike, I wish, like you, I put no effort into this because I got the same result, essentially.
No, tell it. It's a good tidbit. That's a good tidbit.
Oh, did Rob know it? Is that what he did?
Rob knew it and flew the punchline there. Literally blew the punch. But you understand how that could take the wind out of my sails.
I don't think it's taking the wind out of your sails. I think it's setting you up. I'm blowing the wind into your sails like the Wind Waker.
Well, I think Mike still might win.
I'm going to finish, but my enthusiasm is gone.
No, I killed his enthusiasm. Come on, man.
In the manual, in the American version, which is the ones we had, it said that they are afraid of loud noise. And it was always just seen as like a weird flavor text, or why would they put that, or some mistranslation or whatever. And then they were susceptible to arrows, was how you beat them. But the reason it was in there is because it didn't get changed. It should have, because in Japan, the Nintendo Home Entertainment System, the NES, was released as the Famicom. And there were cosmetic differences, like it looked a little different. There were some exclusive games, but famously, Player 2 controller, I believe, had a microphone built in. And there were certain games that made use of it. So in Zelda, you're supposed to have trouble with this enemy. And then if you read the instructions, it says they're scared of loud noises. And then, yes, you would yell or blow, if you wanted to be not very creative, into the other controller, and it would destroy the enemy. So it was this interactive kind of 4D control you had, but only in Japan. And because this was, the 80s and 90s, we were not in such a global internet connected thing, and nobody knew this in America. And it was always this mystery that was eventually revealed when Famicom started coming over here. And it became a really cool little tidbit that I found out about a couple of years ago. And I always thought was a neat thing. And I thought I would share it here.
I think it's great. Is the original Famicom did that, and the Nintendo DS had a microphone. So it worked on the Nintendo DS as well.
That they reincorporated that mechanic.
I think that's a great tidbit. I'm sorry, I got excited.
Gaz getting a pity pat on the head.
I got excited. I didn't mean to steal. I can take out the blow.
No, you have to leave it in because otherwise, what people hear is like, "Hey, I got a tidbit." Anyway, here it is.
I'm sad now. I don't want to tell it.
So, listen. I was going to do a tidbit, and then I decided not to do this tidbit because I thought Gaz would take issue with it. But now I want to explore that tidbit for later. So here's the issue. Mike,
is it a spoiler?
Who do you know who's most sensitive to spoilers in the whole universe?
My friend Ted.
Come on, who's really the most sensitive to spoilers?
Gaz is the most.
I don't like spoilers. It's true.
For instance, a spoiler is a spoiler. Like, for instance, once upon a time, I was going to go see The Force Awakens, and my brother-in-law said, Han Solo dies at the end. And I was like, wanted to murder him because I was literally on my way to see it. And one time I was reading the last Harry Potter book at a bus stop, and a woman came up to the bus stop.
Again, spoilers.
She goes, Dumbledore dies at the end. And I wanted to murder her. It's terrible, right?
Yeah.
But Gaz...
Yeah, that goes beyond a spoiler. That's like ruining it.
Because to Gaz, if you say, Harrison Ford wears a yellow shirt in one scene, that's a spoiler to Gaz.
Yeah, because why would he be wearing a yellow shirt? Oh, he would only be wearing a yellow shirt if he was shot, and then he had to change his outfit. And if he was shot, then that means this character was in. That's the way my mind works.
I get it. So Mike and I, sensitive friends that we are, have learned to avoid any references to any movie until Gaz has seen it.
Yeah. No, what happens is, I watch a movie and then I just say, well, I'll keep that all inside.
Well, what I have offered is talk to each other about it. Don't talk to each other about it in the group text with me. That's my solution.
But I watched the movie Nuremberg, which, by the way, is a good movie. And there's something I learned watching Nuremberg that I didn't know to be true. And I know the history of World War II pretty well. I've studied it, and I'm kind of fascinated by it, as many people are. And I was going to do a tidbit about what I learned because I watched it and I was like, that can't be true. And then I looked it up. Sure enough, it was true. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. This will be a spoiler for Gaz. But then I thought to myself, it's not a freaking spoiler because it's true. It's history. It's actual history. So the question I have for you is, Gaz, if I'm telling a spoiler from something that is true to history, is that actually a spoiler, or is that just...
It's a gray area. Here's why it's a gray area. If you were like telling me about history, just in general, hey, I learned it, and that's not a spoiler. But when someone makes a movie, there's some fact, there's some fiction, there's storytelling, there's events they choose to play up or play down or include. So it's, in a way, it's a spoiler for the way they chose to tell this story and the things they chose to include. And the fact that you're pointing it out highlights it as, like, when I'm going to see it, like, oh, I know that's going to be a big thing in there that, like.
I might make it my tidbit in the future, but I did make it that tidbit this time. So it's a moot point. The tidbit I have comes from a book I read by one of my favorite writers and journalists, John Ronson. Do you guys know who John Ronson is?
Is he
I
Ron
always want to say
Swanson?
Ron Johnson, right? But no, it's John Ronson. He's the guy who wrote The Men Who Stare at Goats, which was a look at the bizarre U.S. military psychic experiment.
I saw the movie.
Yeah, but the book is a little bit more like journalistic. He wrote a book called Them, Adventures with Extremists, where he literally got into some extremist groups and, had some inside conversations. And he's really funny. He's really insightful. He writes about stuff you're curious about. And my favorite book of his is called The Psychopath Test.
I have
the
heard of it.
Psychopath Test is basically an exploration of the idea of psychopathy and how we label it. And as he kind of goes along, he kind of shows how slippery that label is. You meet people who are clear psychopaths and some people who are obviously misdiagnosed. And in the end, you're like, okay, there's obviously psychopaths in the world. But when you get down to the nitty-gritty of diagnostic criteria, the line between what is normal and what is abnormal becomes murky. I want to say in plain terms, a clinical psychopath is someone who has a consistent pattern of not feeling remorse or empathy for others, being very manipulative, very deceitful, very self-interested. They can be charming, but underneath they lack the moral compass that stops most people from doing harm. What's kind of cool about the book, there's a lot of cool things about the book. It's sometimes hilarious, it's sometimes really disturbing, but the book taps into the broader cultural trend of confirmation bias and over-labeling. I think our society uses the term psychopathy or sociopath too easily. I think we do that with narcissism. It's applied way too widely. It dehumanizes people. People use confirmation bias to be like, oh yeah, I'm seeing this, and ignoring the things that kind of contradict those labels. Regardless of all that, there's one part of the book that talks about an experiment from the 1960s where these researchers gave psychopaths LSD LSD and hoped that it would cure their psychopathy. Now, we're not talking about like, troubled teenagers or like petty criminals. We're talking about violent offenders, sometimes murderers in these cases, like clearly diagnosed psychopaths. The therapy was called the Total Encounter Capsule. Patients and therapists would sit in a room together, like windowless room, often for days, completely naked. Them, the therapist, were totally naked, tripping out on LSD, which we all know Mike loves. Mike is our resident LSD fan.
Yep.
This, by the way, is where Mike was first introduced to LSD. He was part of these experiments as
when I opened the doors of perception.
And they would talk like radical honesty. I mean, just imagine anybody. Like, imagine maybe you have a therapist. Imagine having a marathon, days-long, naked LSD session with just and then on top of that, imagine you're
with murderers
and you're with other murderers, and
that's actually the least upsetting part about it to me.
And they would have to share every thought, no matter how embarrassing, and they'd confront each other emotionally, confess past misdeeds, and some would share dark fantasies or guilt. And what started happening was kind of fascinating. The doctors began reporting astonishing results. The inmates and psychopaths started saying things. These are real quotes from them. Quote unquote, "I finally understand love." Some of them started crying. We're talking about like violent murderers who had these crying fits, apologizing for past criminal behaviors, hugging it out, naked, hugging it out, telling doctors, "Oh my God, I feel empathy for the first time," claiming spiritual awakening, saying things like, "I understand what my victims felt," and quote unquote, "I've discovered compassion." There's even this one great moment where one offers a therapist a flower, then they hug, like a scene from a play.
Where'd they get the flower from?
I don't know where they got the flower from. That's a good question.
You were locked in a room naked.
He came to the session with the flower with the intention of giving it to them. I don't know.
So he didn't need the LSD or any of this. He was already ready to give him a flower.
Hold that thought, because that kind of comes around. That comes around to the main thrust of my tidbit, which is that there was one big problem these therapists and researchers didn't really take into mind. And that is that, by definition, psychopaths are extremely good at figuring out what people want to hear and acting like how the people want them to act. They mirror emotional language. They're extremely good at selling people that they're normal when, the whole point of the label is that they're not. So these men weren't developing empathy. They were performing that they had developed empathy. And in fact, many later laughed at how easy it was to fool these doctors into believing they were rehabilitated. What's funny is there were signs that were there. If the doctors were really being clinical, skeptical, data-driven, they would notice that there's one guy who went on and on about how he discovered compassion and had a rebirth. And then he spent 90 minutes talking about how much he hated the cafeteria chocolate pudding. Okay. In the end, and then sometimes they talk about this rebirth and then they'd have like a fight in the hallway on the way out. But in the end, LSD didn't teach any of them empathy, but they thought it had. So a lot of these psychopaths were released as cured individuals. And of course, they went out and got violent and started manipulating people. And in fact, sadly, in more than one case, they ended up murdering again. In one case, one person had been violent in their past and now graduated to murder. LSD does not cure criminality or psychopathology.
That's the tidbit.
That's my tidbit.
Couple follow-ups.
Yeah.
Gaz commented the fact that it's a room full of murders is the least worst thing about that. I'm assuming you're saying the worst thing is having your shirt off in front of a bunch of other men.
Not just shirt. All clothing is terrible. And then everybody being on LSD while everybody no. I don't
like have no shirt on?
No shirt, no pants, no socks.
I would be more comfortable with no pants on. I could go Porky Pig style.
Yeah, you know what? I'll agree with that. If I had to
Winnie the Pooh, wait, you could not be Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh
wears a shirt. No,
that's what we want. That's what we want. And that's
you want to Porky Pig it. Yeah. You're gonna just go shirt, no pants.
Yeah, give me some socks, and then we're really cooked.
I think Donald Duck is the same, right? Where it's just a shirt.
Yeah, Donald Duck. Yeah.
I think the most naked you can be is wearing nothing but maybe just a shirt and then a pair of shoes. like dress shoes.
Oh yeah, that's worse. Yeah,
So if I had to do this thing, I'm on LSD and I'm wearing dress shoes,
and you have like a briefcase or a bag.
My genitals are all out.
Yeah,
I've got a t-shirt on. You know what's a good test for psychopathy?
Psychopathy. But yeah,
probably you could test whoever will go into like public bathrooms and continue their phone conversation while they're taking a shit.
Oh, that is a good one. And if they have it on speakerphone, even better.
That is okay. You are not connected to society in any way. You see us all as NPCs. You don't.
It doesn't mean they're violent though, but you're right that they're not connected.
It's like you're missing something where you're like you don't have like a
good test for narcissism, honestly. But yeah,
certainly something, right? Where like you know, I could not continue my conversation. That So that was my follow-ups. Gaz, follow-up. Trying to think about what would be more naked. You think dress shoes?
I think dress shoes. Yeah, because socks wouldn't bother me. Any shoes, but specifically dress shoes. Hiking boots would be weird too.
Yes, pair of hiking boots on.
Yeah,
and nothing else.
No, I don't think I don't have a follow-up for what you've just shared with us, Rob, but I do like that occasionally Mike and or I are less prepared than we could be or have a short little tidbit or whatever. Never once have you come with anything less than like a performance piece.
I like this stuff. I like storied bits of trivia.
But I do realize, I was going to say, I look forward to the day where one day you couldn't get it together, but that'll never happen because you're in charge of when we record. So if you have a problem, you're not ready, you're we can't record.
I still feel like I could do one on the fly a little bit better than how Mike executes it.
With the Wikipedia while you were talking.
Wikipedia while I'm talking.
I thought I covered that up.
I know the next time we're going to be recording is going to be approaching April Fool's Day. And I wanted to talk to you about this really great idea I have for an April Fool's tidbit.
Why are you talking about this while we're recording?
Because I'm giving the listeners something to look forward to. You don't think I should?
Yes,
Maybe I'll just leave it at that. Maybe just be like, we're going to have something special for April Fool's.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's good because nobody would suspect something weird happening on April 1st.
No one would say it coming, right?
Yeah,
okay.
They're going to be.
Given when we
fooled.
recorded the Christmas episode, maybe it'll happen in July.
Sounds lovely.
With these guys, right?
Anyway, hey, I really appreciate the Legend of Zelda, knowledge I gleaned today from you guys, or just taking a trip down memory lane. I don't know if I told you, but when I got crazy sick, I caught some crazy flu this week, and just in time, a mini original NES that I ordered came, and I was playing the original Legend of Zelda. I got to level 8 in my sickness. Yeah, that is my story.
Perhaps one day I will buy that cartridge at a garage sale. One day, and I'll see that I'm already on level 8.
One day.
So we're gonna vote.
Oh yeah, we got to vote. I forgot about that. I'm voting for Gaz.
You vote for yourself?
You can't vote for yourself. Wasn't that like a rule?
Okay. Well, probably. I vote for Rob.
I will vote for Rob as well, though I deserve
it.
Deserve it.
Yay, Rob! Now, Rob, you should make Mike do a Legend of Zelda trivia again.
No, because I saw what Rob did to Gaz's Zelda tidbit. He already knew it. It's like,
all right. How about what could we do? Maybe something that I'm curious about, but I don't know a whole heck of a lot about. So, Mike, maybe you can do a tidbit.
Deep sea swimming, like deep water swimming.
That's not anything I'm remotely curious about. In fact, my ears don't let me deep water swim. I'm resentful.
So would you like to know how it worked, like swimming in deep bodies of water? Cover that for you, Rob.
That's what I'm choosing. Mike, I want you to do a tidbit about deep water. It better be good. It better be good. Did you know that some people swim deep underwater? It's true. That's my tidbit.
But not Rob Poole, because his ears are against him.
I remember back in middle school, Rob couldn't swim very deep. And it brings me to my tidbit that some people swim very deep. That's my tidbit.
I feel like I deserve to have won this one, because clearly it stuck with you.
That's it. All right, I'm going to hang it up, guys. I'm not hanging up. I'm turning it off. Turn it off, guys.
Good job, guys. I'll see you next week.
Powering down.
A little bit afterwards. But bye. Bye,
no, I gotta go.